And we're
Good
live.
morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Magic with Lila and John.
Yay!
And thank you for your patience while we futz with the technology. And thank you for hanging out for the 20 minutes instead of 5 minutes that John said we would be here.
Yeah, sorry about that, people. Sorry,
we were busy.
sorry,
We were busy
sorry,
yapping.
sorry.
So we are continuing our conversation about programming, and John and I have some very interesting points of view.
Absolutely. I get better than that.
So go ahead and tell the friends what you were saying.
So this morning when I woke, I got excited because after we finished last week, my sister said, "Hey, let's finish this programming conversation." And if you go to my Facebook, well, you guys see my Facebook page, I put a message out like we're coming. Wait for us. We'll be there. We were late, of course. Hey, better late than never. But I also put some lyrics to a song from George Clinton that was written in the 70s, early 70s, late 60s, I want to say maybe, about um, programming, reprogramming, and deprogramming of us back then. And uh, Leland and I have some interesting points of view on programming. And I was sharing with her before we came on that I've noticed in 32 years of working as a probation officer for the juvenile court, I've noticed the clients I worked with when I first started in 1990 and clients I receive in 2022. They're dynamically different. And part of it that I observe is the programming. And I like what Lila said too, of this other part that I was like, now that I'm marinating on what she said, she's going to talk about what we were built for, which was kind of dope. What is that effect like? And I'm always, there's a line in there, the bigger the headache in this song, the bigger the headache, the bigger the pill. And
Hmm.
he's making reference to all of the drugs that we are given to be able to stop. We have a drug for everything. If your penis don't get big or hard, we got one for that. If your cramps are too bad, we got a pill for that. When you have a headache, we have a pill for that. When your stomach hurt, we have a pill for that. We have all these outside sources to take from the interior, which I think is kind of interesting. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but I'm just like every time you have a anyway, where do we get programmed when we stop asking questions about ourselves? That's why
That's not at all a deep question.
I'm
Where do we get programmed when we stop asking questions?
yeah,
Oh, every day and where?
yeah.
My children are in my office being children. So
I get
now
better than
y'all
that.
get to see my messy bed, my
Oh, wow.
unfolded towels.
Do they fold themselves?
They do not fold
Oh
themselves. This
shit!
is
I wanted to
ridiculous.
buy those to jump on the bed and do like this and like they put themselves in the closet.
This is 2022 and the towels don't fold themselves. What are we even doing with our lives?
I'm saying, what the hell?
They're fresh from the dryer though. Um, but what was your question? I got distracted by the towels.
We were talking about the programming that people
Yeah,
have.
yeah. The question of like what? Oh my gosh, that question apparently wants to do some work on me because it won't stick in my head.
I was talking about everything is a source outside of yourself and the programming and for me, the continuation of that. And you said something about like I can tell what Adele is eating. What happens
Yeah,
after?
that we're not built to be as connected as we are, and we're disconnected. It's not so much about the connection. We're not built to have access to all the information that we have access to.
Yeah,
And we're not educated on how to nourish our nervous systems so that we can handle everything that we have access to.
yeah,
In 1984, when I was a toddler, I only had access to the news as far away from my house as like Vicksburg, Mississippi, which for where I live now would be like having access to the news of what's going on in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm like 20 minutes outside the city. But now I can go to Twitter and find out what Adele had for breakfast this morning. Because it's already afternoon across the pond. First of all, the fuck do I need with that information? Not a damn thing. Nobody cares what Adele had for breakfast. But the war, the violence, the pain, like we have as much access to joy as we do to pain, but we're gonna focus on the pain because also our brains are built for that as well. And the reason our brains are built for that is so we don't hurt ourselves again in the future. It's a protective mechanism, but we haven't adapted to be like, okay, that is pain that belongs to this community over there. And I need to be focused on right here. Lillian, Lucas, Lee, and Lila. Sometimes John, sometimes Deb. Sometimes Susan, but not really like the war in the Ukraine that I can literally do nothing about myself in this moment. Yeah. If I'm not sending money, raising money, calling people, my friends that live in the Ukraine, they're in Turkey, they're safe. So that's all I need.
And even with that, though, I want to even say how, and this is where the programming for me shows up. I don't have regular TV, so I don't watch your news. I might see snippets of something show up on my computer, but I always like take that off because I decided a while back that it was like, it's programming. So we're focusing on the Ukraine and Russia.
But there is a guy that is unhoused in my city that sleeps on our sidewalk. Yeah. Like, can we get him into a home?
Yeah. But even if you want me to go global, how many people know about the war that's in East Africa right now?
The people that watched us last week.
Okay. So I can get you to focus on something of what's important. And before you know it, you'll realize that this region of the world is the most important region. And so that's what I'm saying about the programming. And I think that there's, you can got like, it's like, I remember I told you I want to go fishing. You told me, John, you need to go fishing. And I was thinking about that because when I put a bobber
in the water, fishing yet?
Not yet, sister. I'm working on it. So when I put a bobber on the water and I put the hook down, it's like hanging maybe 12 inches below. I'm watching that bobber and I'll jerk it towards me. And what happens is a hook at the very end with usually some time for food. So I'm programming something when I come to the water to act like it's a live thing.
Yeah.
And I'm guiding it closer to me so that when it gets close enough, I can hook it and pull it and put it in the boat, right? Mm-hmm. How are we programmed? Why, like everything, like you're not thinking about something like what is forcing us to direct and look at that, not the man on your sidewalk who's homeless. And before you know it, you don't even see that motherfucker no more.
I think it's escapism, to be honest.
Yeah.
As a society, there's a lot of escapism. And I don't understand, like, there is an atrocious foster system in the United States. I can't speak anywhere else, but I can speak about the foster care system in the United States. It is horrid, right?
Yes.
Why are we adopting babies from China and Africa and why are we not getting these familyless children in the US into safe families that want children to take care of?
Well, even so, okay, so now you're gonna make me go into some other shit. I wasn't even gonna talk about that, bro. So
just asking some questions. Like
it's part of the programming, though. It's part of the programming. I can't see.
It's the escapism,
right? Like
it's the we're not getting.
I wasn't going to even talk about this shit, but
we're not getting the beam out of our eye.
Yeah,
we're so busy with like other people and
I'm gonna ask a simple question. I'm not down, and I'm gonna say this in preface because if somebody ever say, "Well, John, you said this bitch," watch the whole thing. So if somebody pulls this shit out here to check this out, If Russia brought their smooth ass over and parked up behind Cuba with their ships, talking about, oh, we just hanging out. What the fuck you think the United States gonna say and do about it? They gonna blast their ass out the water. Let's look at this real deep. I'm not down for fucking not killing no kids. I'm not down with your goddamn wars. I just want to be just thinking outside the fucking box, y'all. If they pulled up right near Canada, talking about we chilling, what the fuck we gonna say to them? Back the fuck off. Matter of fact, there was a deal made that said you weren't gonna encroach in their space with NATO a while back. Now, I'm not down for fighting nobody, killing nobody. I think that you're a punk ass motherfucker when you have to do shit like that. But what I'm saying is that when you really make something, when you really look at it, what would you do? My kids say, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do if somebody came up in his backyard like that? And he didn't want
Jesus
nobody.
be turning over tables and shit.
Exactly. And what I'm saying about that, and I'm not down for no. Yet listen to this. I don't believe in war. Period. I don't. But what was not the preventive measures? And if you and please, before you point fingers at one person, look at your own. And what happens is that's that programming where we have to go look at somebody. Good morning, my cousin Greg. How you doing? When we have to go look across the pond to find something because we don't want to look at our own shit. We do not want, and that's part of the program. I thought that the United States was the best place on the planet, and everybody told me that I can get the fuck out. Fuck you too, but I'm saying that in advance. When I went to school in France in 1983, I started to see that, oh, there's another possibility of where you live. And France ain't got it together 100% either, but it was just different. And what I'm saying is part of your programming is that us here in this country, we don't even travel state to state, most of us.
Yeah.
And so I think part of the program, that's the whole piece about why I put that song in there, is that when George Clinton was talking about the bigger the headache, the bigger the pill, every time you get an incident, you got to look for a bigger pill. It's that programming is keeping us outside of like looking at that homeless person. Think about those kids that are foster. You're right. Working in the juvenile department, foster kids have the worst life. They might as well been aborted in the way they've been treated. Now somebody says, oh, John, how you say that? That's kind of harsh. I'm saying that because what they've gone through.
Yeah, because if you're not in a body, I mean, and Wayne Dyer was in foster care. And I feel like Wayne Dyer was probably the exception to the rule.
And okay, so here's the piece. Let's back up. Let me get my emotion. Woosah. Not everything's everything. First thing I want to say that.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. Not every foster parent's not a good foster parent. But what I'm saying is, like, he talked about how bad it was.
Yeah.
And how he turned how bad it was into a blessing.
Yeah.
And I want to say that not all of us are built that way.
Right.
Some of us break under the pressure of like those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So.
And how's that the blessing in disguise of adaptation, if I say it? I think that and that's the beautiful, unique aspect of us, of being able to adapt and make different choices.
Yeah.
And when I really, you and I spoke about this before. We were talking about depression and programming, and lately I'm realizing that a lot of when I sit with myself, and I sometimes sit here and I do my meditation, I sit in, and this is my space because I cleaned it up and I got my tax stuff all together. Uncle Sam, I'm gonna get some motherfucking money soon. I sit here and I think about being depressed, and I have to go through all this stuff. And it's kind of weird when I get to a certain spot now, when I realize that I release everything that's not mine, and maybe 12th of the thing that I thought was mine is mine, and that I could actually dissect it, marinate on it, and move it around and switch it up. And I realized just for me, that I'm highly aware of other people's shit. And my body, the greatest lesson that I realize is I can now have more oneness with my body, because I know that now when pain shows up, my body's trying to capture my attention for stuff.
Mm.
Not that it's wrong, but my motherfucking ass is thick headed sometimes. And they are at my body is like, hey, look, would you mind looking at this? And
Yeah.
if you look at this, you can, and I saw this last time I told you I was on the airplane, when I was sitting there and I was like, why am I on the plane having gas and my stomach feel like, oh my God, bubble gut. And I was like, and it happens. I was like, why is this happening? I haven't eaten anything. I ate right last night. But what I'm realizing is that awareness of that was somebody else's stuff on the plane. And actually, when I spoke to it, I just had to speak to it. Oh, that's not mine. Return this to somebody. Or and I fuck returning. Let the shit go. Let
Yeah.
it go. And that programming piece about it is, I'm not saying, and I'm not saying this for the people who are depressed. Like I'm not like coming after anybody. No, please, please, please understand. I'm saying, I think there might be another option. There might be another possibility with all of the programming that we have. Uh, and like for example, this other thing, when you ever get depressed or anything, I know you don't do this, Lila, but how many of us out there smoke weed? I asked my kids.
I was like, what do you mean I don't do depression? Let's
Yeah.
talk about
No. And so now you made me switch it. Hanging out with you for the last, I don't know, 2 years, it feels like maybe
Yeah.
more. Okay. I'm always, when you tell me something's going on, I'm always like tapping in at all of the satellites around you. If you were Earth, you have all the
Mm.
satellites, and how many of them are actually coming in crashing towards you?
Mm.
Because if y'all haven't had a chance to speak to the sister, she's like, her tentacles are always out there. Because she said something to me about something that last week she sent me a message. Is I ain't gonna put my shit out there, but
Just
you can
some
tell me
out of
more.
the blue shit.
And she was
We
right on. She was
talking
spot
our
on.
shit
I was
in
like, I
K-pop.
was going through like la 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 la. And she said, boom. I was like, how that motherfucker know that? And what I realized is this is how deep this sister is. Well, if she's tapped into me, how many other millions of people is she tapped into at one time? And that's when I start to get to the point of, when we end up becoming depressed, do we retreat first to see how much of it is ours? Like this solitude room that I have here. When I come in this space, I love people, I love y'all. But as I've gotten older, I need this space here so that I can actually decompose, or not decompose, maybe decompose, but decompress other people's shit. And look within me, like even to the point, get how many programs are we running? Yeah, okay, yeah. Everybody know I love the Matrix. And how many downloads do you have? Like, I'm watching this special on Netflix about sex and women's sex stuff. I can't remember this.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. I'm watching this pleasure thing, and I'm looking at all the things. I'm looking, even what are the programs that's with, even in that actually makes us respond to a certain thing.
So much conversation. Clearly, John's not turning into a pumpkin this morning, but I am. So we're gonna wrap up.
Okay.
But I love this. I think we should just keep having this
Yeah,
conversation in all of
we
its
can.
different forms.
Yes, yes.
John Ashford, what is happening for you? What's coming up that people can come play with you with?
Well, I'm going to be in Florida the 27th through the 2nd. I'm teaching a body class. I'm doing a bars class. I'm doing a foundation, and I'm doing SOP sessions. I'll be down in Fort Lauderdale area. Like I said, April 26th through the May 2nd. I have my money workbook class, but that's closed because people are already in that. You can go to my website to check out the crazy stuff I'm doing, www.beingjohnashford.com. Go check me out. Come have a class. If you need sessions, if you want some magic,
You need
body
an
magic.
SOP session in your life, no matter where you
I love
are in the
that.
world.
Yes, in person and that's it. What about you?
This excuse me while I be a John commercial. I have space for one-to-one client.
Oh my God, you have no more space. Y'all better jump on that shit.
um, so book a consult. Just reach out to me and book a consult, and we'll connect and see if we are a good fit for each other. It's a year. I'm just gonna tell you now, it's a 1-year commitment. And we're gonna be going deep into healing your patterns. So come play.
And
It'll be fun. I'll
what
send
about
you
one?
Kleenexes. You'll need them.
What
Huh?
about the other stuff they do? What about the class I'm in? Are you doing another one of those classes, or that's going to be put on?
There's gonna be another one next quarter. I don't know exactly when. But John and Maisha and a few other people have been asking me, what's next? So, what's next is Feast. It is a monthly experience, and we are rewriting that feast or famine experience in your life so that you can live in a perpetual state of feast.
Yes.
So that's that. And it'll start next month, and I will have a registration link by next Monday.
How's get better than that?
And if you want to know about it between now and then, just message me.
Okay, magical people. Thank you for hanging out with us. See you next Monday. Sorry about the delay. We'll probably be on time. Hopefully, it won't be snowing.
Well, we'll talk before we get on. That way,
Yes.
y'all won't be waiting for us to finish
Yes.
yapping.
Yes. Love y'all.
Bye,
Peace.
everybody.
Bye-bye.